I have bad news for people that like to use Full Metal Jacket, FMJ, for purposes other than range use. If you're using it defensively because you're concerned about barrier penetration and you want that barrier penetration, that normal everyday FMJ, it's going to do really, really poorly. Full Metal Jacket's made for practice. It's made for shooting targets. It's made for shooting paper. Its construction is cheap. It's an inexpensive ammunition made in bulk to be shot in training scenarios, just in training. Having shot a lot of cars, a lot of windows, windshields, various structures, shooting at, into, and through, Full Metal Jacket is that's pretty crappy. It's not that great for barrier penetration. A couple years ago, I did a vehicle class where we shot through a rear window, hoping to go through a front window into a target just to see what bullets do. Man, that FMJ did not make it past the windshield. It went through the rear window, and then it bounced off the windshield. There are pictures on it on Instagram and Facebook. Now let's compare that to Gold Dot HST, the go-to defensive ammunition choices. Those are made to a much higher standard. There's some more oomph, better velocity, more consistency, better construction. Shooting vehicles, through vehicles, windshields, doors, vehicle components, parts. That premium defensive stuff does a lot better than FMJ. Punches through a lot better. Same with residential structure. It's just a better option. And that's why it's more expensive. Now, when we start to get into the weeds with this stuff, there are absolutely going to be some exceptions. And knowing those exceptions is kind of cool. Rule of thumb for duty caliber defensive handguns is your go-to. It's your Gold Dots, your HST, your proven defensive ammunition, premium defensive ammunition. When we go into those mouse calibers, the sub caliber, the 32s, the 25, the 380s, even 22, FMJ might be your best bet. And this is where some study comes in, maybe even some testing. Because basically what happens, like let's talk about 380. With certain 380, if we load it with a good jacketed hollow point, when it begins to expand, it starts to slow down. That expansion acts as a parachute, and that limits penetration. Well, 380 as it is may already have some penetration issues. And I'd much rather have that penetration than expansion. Because if that expanded round is not even making it to the vitals, what's the use? So that's where Full Metal Jackets come in. Same with 32s. Same with other mouse calibers. So I know what those exceptions are, but in reality, most people are carrying some form of a duty caliber, whether it's a 9, 40, 45. And those, as long as it's feeding those jacketed hollow points, the premium options are going to be your best bet. Similarly, frangible is made for training. Frangible is made for shooting steel in a training environment at a closer range than what you can safely shoot Full Metal Jacket, which is a training round, into. So when people talk about frangible being great for home defense, it's not. Essentially what it is its characteristics are going to be similar to FMJ, similar. It's not going to be expanding. It will penetrate to a point, but as soon as it strikes something harder than itself, it breaks, it comes apart. It doesn't disintegrate, but it definitely comes apart. So if it strikes concrete, steel, something harder than itself, something stronger than the adhesive that's holding it all together, because it's essentially powdered metal, poof. It's not for defense. It's not safer in the home use. So really, if you're concerned about intermediate barriers, if you're worried about vehicles, HST Gold Dot, a premium defensive pistol ammunition, and I am just talking about pistol, but those premium defensive pistol options, those are your best bet. Those are your best bet. And this isn't just defensive. This is also duty. This is a reason why police officers carry this as their round. Highway patrol who deal with vehicles almost exclusively, but not entirely. They're not carrying FMJs. They're carrying probably a Gold Dot or an HST. Why? Because superior performance with superior penetration. Yeah. And we've discussed this. We've had podcasts. Gary Roberts has talked about this. Chuck Haggard has talked about this. But this comes up often enough where it just needs to be addressed. And this is one of my favorite topics. I love talking about terminal ballistics. I love talking about this kind of stuff. If you love this kind of stuff, make sure you're hitting like, make sure you're subscribed, and make sure you are sharing if you found this to be beneficial. If you need to share this to someone else, you probably should. Additionally, if you go to patreon.com/primary and secondary, you can support the network. I have thousands of hours on YouTube as we speak of videos, of discussions, talking to subject matter experts where they're focusing on their fields and sharing their wealth of knowledge with all of us. If you don't want to go the Patreon route, go to primaryandsecondary.com/forum. There's a banner. It says network support. You can help support that way. If financial support's just not in the cards, share. That's very much appreciated. Let's see here. I've been doing this for over 10 years now with a little tiny footprint. Yeah, lots of hours, lots of effort put in for this. And it's just awesome to be able to get all this together and share. I love it. That's all. I'll think of something else. I'll make another video. I'll talk to you soon.